We are live. Welcome, everyone, to Bardic Inspiration. This is Dungeons and Dragons in Shakespearean Style. I am your Dungeon Master, Adam Himbry, and with me tonight are the cast of the Headless Marys, one of our two D&D campaigns running in the homebrew world of Aorn. It has been 2 weeks since last we saw the Headless Marys. We had the Magical Cane Band here last week. When we left them, they are in the process of king-making, as it were, setting up Lyla Donvale as Thane of her ancestral home. Though she has been long thought dead, they have been moving up and down Eston from the islands of Lake Lewin to Orst, and then all the way down the Lewin River to wind up at the seaside port of Haleford. And they are now at Donvale Manor House, which is where they have been up to some hijinks. I'm going to turn it over to the cast, however, to do a quick recap. So, Mel, are you ready to set a timer for us?
Yep. 30 minutes, right?
Please deliver it only in rhyme. It's now an epic poem.
Wait, do we get 2 minutes? I always forget.
2 minutes is correct.
Yeah, you usually just give us one.
That's never happened. There is tape. You can go and look.
Starting now. So Bertram died.
Yeah. Most important thing.
One day he's really gonna die, and then you'll see.
We all interrogated everyone at the fortress.
Yeah, all the staff.
4 people each.
Yep, in groups.
Found 4 betrayers.
That's right. That's right.
Vela basically stepped up and said, "Yo, I'm your thing now," and basically came out to everyone that was in attendance.
Uncle came out as the captain of the guard.
Oh yeah.
Just appointed.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you got like
classic fake it till you make it confidence.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And it resulted in like amazing armor.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Golden
Which is really the reason he did it more than the job.
Yeah.
No relax.
Caliban got a cool gadget, right?
I got a short, just a short bow and a rapier, and got some arrows that I can manipulate a la Hawkeye, so I can have some pranks in the future.
You can fill them with dragon poop.
Yeah, dragon poop is basically all I can do, but that's so hard to come by. So hopefully we'll run into some dragon poop.
Oh wait, didn't Alda disappear?
Yeah, she ran away.
Yeah.
At the very end of the episode, she swam off, right?
I've never seen her poop. What have we been doing with all that dragon poop?
15 seconds.
Oh, we had a confession.
Well, let's talk more about dragon poop. We found out it was definitely the uncle that's betrayed them, so that's going to be interesting, and decided that we'll probably cast Speak with Dead to communicate with those that have passed.
Yeah. And then we were wondering, what would our theme song sound like? Do we want a thing? Write in the comments below.
It sounds like this.
One theme song. Yeah.
Look, this is technically
a different theme song for Headless Marys and then one for Magical Cane Band? Or would it be like the same theme song, but then randomly it'd be like...
None of this is canon. The timer went off.
Yeah. Headless Marys. Yeah, it's on our OnlyFans account.
Look, we're gonna need that money to make up for whatever lawsuit Elizabeth just caused by singing the Indiana Jones theme song.
Wait, no, I never said it was Indiana Jones. Who said that? You said it.
Oh, I thought it was Superman.
That wasn't.
Oh, was
last-
that in last?
No.
Wasn't that the
before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that impressive that it deserves being mentioned twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
We give that to Bertram. What did we do with that? Give it to Bertram.
You should use it on Bertram. Take all his fluids out.
Oh, Adam is drunk.
Demons return.
For anyone who couldn't hear that, apparently Adam has no audio.
He also just told us we're leveling up to level 9.
Yay!
Also, at the start, Adam wanted to say this is a special episode where Adam is drunk. Adam is drunk. The rest of us are sober.
He also said killing Bertram was the event that caused us all.
Oh, we made him angry.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Yes.
Do we have to do the whole start again, Adam?
They could hear us, couldn't they?
Yeah. Is that how?
Roll initiative. Good night.
Yeah, if it's late, I just took something from one of the prisoners. I took like a notebook, I think. Yeah. Yes.
I could possibly look at that and be able to forge something for us too, by the way.
I think we're
We
still
wanna
having
just-
audio issues.
Yeah.
Oh no. Actually, that was just me. Sorry. I can probably forge something for us if we wanted to. I'm quite good at that.
Ooh.
Good night, all.
Are we good? What's going on?
I feel like I want to show it to someone in the party first, or the party first.
Well, should we have a chat about what we want to do next?
What should
Yeah.
we-
Well,
Okay, let's.
we're luring the uncle in and capture him, right?
The uncle's coming here?
Well, yes, he's coming in 2 days, I believe. 1 or 2 days.
We need to be on guard.
Shall we make some traps?
Caliban, being on guard is my life's work, and it is what I am doing here presently.
Yeah. You're an inspiration.
Thank you.
Avery did raise a good point just then. Is our plan to capture him? But perhaps then a best method is not to wait, but to intercept.
Perhaps if he does get wind that we have figured out his plot, then he may be already on his way out of town even further. So we need to decide whether we're going to try and anticipate his arrival, if he's actually going to come, or if we're going to try and follow him and hunt him down.
Yeah. I guess the other thing that I'm thinking is, like, how much power does he have? He might actually still have the advantage, even though that we know, depending on how many men are on his side. I mean, it was pretty brazen it's clear he doesn't care about actual rules of succession. The fact that he has killed his own blood for power kind of speaks to the desperate ambition of this man.
Could we not use one of our prisoners to try and draw him out? Someone he trusts?
Might I suggest, some of my pupils are now schooled in the very beginning of acting improvisation skills. Perhaps one of them could be of use?
When you did say your pupils, I did think you meant the orbs within your head.
Nay.
I'm glad that I listened to the rest of the sentence to put it right.
Indeed, Caliban. For though thou art a crow, peck not out mine eyes. Ah!
Offensive.
Oh.
I did see some of your pupils acting as bunnies, and I'm sorry, Ravelor, but I was not convinced that they were in fact bunnies.
Well, I'm sorry, Avery, if their skills were not up to thy standards, for I know thou hast the very highest of standards.
Our new
Well, yes.
our new prisoners they do seem very sad. They might be willing to do what we tell them to in exchange for freedom.
What is it?
Well, we do have a choice, I guess. We either stay and wait for the uncle to come, or we do go out, or we send someone out on our behalf.
Going out, I do not feel comfortable leaving my post at this time, but I also do not wish to miss out on a cool fight potentially.
How many guardsmen are there left, Buckle? Dost thou know yet?
Only the 4 that I've met so far.
That's what I'm scared. I'm scared that the uncle will turn up with 200 men. They like ride into town and say, "Hello, darlings, I'm here to rule." And then what are we going to do? We've got 4 men, and I mean, we're very spectacular fighters ourselves, of course, and yet we're not 200 men.
But Caliban, 200 men here, fighting 200 men here, is that not the same as fighting 200 men on the road?
Nay, for we have parapets. I don't know whether we have parapets, by the way. Do we have parapets?
It's more of a big manor house. Like
okay.
So it's like wood and stone among other things, but it's not like not a crenulated castle. There are walls, however, around at least the main area where the house and its immediate grounds are. So there are some defenses.
We also have the benefit of being able to modify the ground somewhat. I know a guy, for example, who knows a mold earth spell. And we could do that everywhere if we wanted to around the castle.
There are 2 of us that know mold earth.
Yeah.
Indeed. So we could do 2 castles. I
don't need to, though.
I think you may be right. We do not know what is coming. However, we know these grounds better than we do the grounds on the trail. So perhaps we prepare? Cue montage! Punky's there with an axe, like breaking wood. After a long rest, of course.
Yeah.
Mayhaps we keep Lady Bayla in protection at all times, and Ravelor can use his amazing acting skills to pretend to be Bayla, and thus draw his attention.
I love that.
Though I feel that thou wert patronizing me just then, Avery, I do accept.
Well, we are all patrons of you, Ravelor, for we have paid your way many a day.
On top of that, good Ravelor, perhaps tomorrow morning I would feel prepared to cast a death ward upon her, granting her some measure of protection from death.
Aye. And upon me as well, for I shall take her form.
Well, I fear me, Ravelor, that I may not have the same level of enough power within me to do that and also speak to her dead sister. Forgive me.
Aye, 'tis much more important than my life, I agree.
To do anything for the greater good, is that not correct, Ravelor?
Ravelor responds in Vela's voice, "It is."
Well done.
Dead ringer.
Can I? If I have disguised self, then can I turn into her?
Yeah, your appearance.
God, we can all be Vela.
Should all be Vela.
Yeah, let's do like yeah. Like it pops up out of everyone. Just haunt him.
No one bring their owl though.
We could perhaps, speaking of haunting, be the people that are dead, and act as if nothing bad has befallen them.
Mind game.
Was Worthington here when they died? Can anyone remember?
You learned when chatting about it that Worthington was sent away angrily on the morning, and that night is when she fell ill, and all of them did, other than the two servants who were the next day, which is what made people believe that it was a plague and contagious, that they caught it.
Okay. Well, that would be cool.
Sounds like we have a plan. What is it?
Ravelor pretends to be Vela.
Adric pretends to be Vela.
So we have the sisters and Vela. There were two sisters, correct?
Lyla and Brumilla, yes.
I'll be Lila.
Okay, I guess I will shape as Brumilla.
How many of you have disguised self? It's actually most of you.
Yeah, and the thing is, we could lure him in. We could lure him into like the grand chamber, where he will have to kind of speak to, speak to our disguised selves as if we were the royalty, and then we could end it right there.
We could only.
I can be invisible, by the way. I can do that.
We need to then enlist the help of the staff of the manor house, for they all know now that they are dead, and I do not think them all as liars as us.
I have another snag in the plan, I'm afraid. I have not in my possession disguised...
Don't talk about your snag.
Episode title.
I have not in my possession disguised self, but I do have mage hand. I was thinking,
Armor. You have the armor.
I have a better idea, Avery. I shall write a little sign that says, "I'm Vela," and I shall hold it in front of my face with mage hand. Then I shall do Vela's voice where I have the afterbeat.
Ravel, I think perhaps we should test that first. Perhaps that could try with a servant or someone who is not expecting it, and we can test their response.
Rav replies in Barwin's voice, "A capital idea."
I like that not, Ravel.
I think it's probably more important that we can be a change into the people that have passed away than the people that are living. So, because we have a living Vela if we need her too. You know, if we were to do that plan, or maybe we could say that one of the sisters died, but the other one survived, or.
Hi, and there's enough.
I think just whatever we can do to set the uncle off his kilt.
I know. I shall be the uncle. For when he sees himself, he shall be set most off of his kilt, shall he not, Caliban?
Aye, and make his face bloodied. Seeing his own bloodied face before him would be very unsettling.
And then I should disguise myself as the uncle, but as a child. And be like, I'm the ghost of Uncle Past.
And I will affect my voice to cry like a mewling babe who has been abandoned, just like the people of the Vale of Dons have been by this corrupt, evil doer.
So are we planning as to tell out some story, perhaps, as manner of witches giving prophecy to tell him to leave this place? Is that?
I'll play.
Aye.
But we don't want him to leave. We want to capture and kill him.
Aye, he shall be so enthralled by our play that he shall go nowhere. I will teach all of ye warm-up exercises. Now, bunny.
An hour passes of warm-up exercise.
I do not get it.
Caliban,
you got my son,
bunny, and you are the bunny when I do pass thee the bunny.
Flashback.
What is a Goomba? I know not what a Goomba is.
If we are able to use whatever trickery we have at our disposal to get him, Edmund, his name, we can get him to confess, then that makes our work very easy indeed.
A play perhaps is a good method for that.
I suppose my only concern is if he comes in, sees Baylor upon the throne and says, well, I guess sneaky tricks don't do tricks. I will instead just use my sword and cleave off yon head. Then all of our fancy japes will be for naught.
Well, then I must sleep well tonight so I can cast a death ward, or at least give some measure of preparation in case that is the outcome.
And we should, even though we shall be off book by then, we should have our swords at the ready. I don't have a sword.
I've got two. Do you want one? Nah, don't worry about it. I want to keep it.
Indeed. Well, I shall take first watch then.
Perhaps while you're watching, you can write the play and tell us of it tomorrow.
Ravelord, you do not need to take watch. That is the guardsman's, people's job.
I thought you said the gardener for a second.
The gardeners. We've been short on stuff.
How thou hast modified the term to be gender neutral. Thou art very woke. Ravelord kisses him on the forehead.
I do not remember the names nor genders of two of the guards people. Therefore, I'm being careful.
Well, if thou wouldst have my guard duties, thou canst have them, Buckle, but dost thou not need to sleep as well?
I do, they do not. That is how it is done. That is what I did in Argen Manor.
Wow. Buckle, thou art changed by thy gilded armor, and I like it.
There are jobs, there are people who do those jobs. This is how those jobs are done.
Well, as captain of the guard, I am completely swayed by thine expertise and expert opinion, Buckle. That is what must happen. Let it happen. I shall go enjoy the most comfortable bed I have e'er had in months.
As will I. Wow, I never get to sleep at the same time as the others. I call Big Spoon.
We have our
own rooms.
Oh.
Audrey gives Ravelor a big spoon. There you go. I used to like it. I'll sleep with my staff tonight. Not the staff of the building. My staff.
Yeah.
Night all.
Audrey, guys,
Middle management indeed.
Corporate nightmare indeed.
Roderick, I sleep with my staff every night. Wink.
I get the.
One day we should swap.
The metaphors collide.
I get the. As I call them, Marcus and Therion and together, and I instruct them to take watch, as I presume they've already been doing.
Yeah.
This whole time.
Yeah. Marcus will inform you that they're stretched pretty thin and pretty tired, but hopefully there are more guards soon if you're hiring.
Good idea.
Yeah,
I guess I could.
Yeah.
Should we all do interviews?
Hey, if Edmund arrives here with 200 men, there are 200 potential applicants.
And there are 6 of us. Therefore, 200 divided by 6. Leave me be. Is that an abacus? Carry the one.
I'll take a shift as well.
Is it the captain's job to
Look, it is.
hire the staff?
I mean, I think Myra will clue you in that it's like, Myra's job to hire staff, but when it comes to guards, like you as captain of the guard would have input over that process.
They're going to have a busy day tomorrow, I think. But
Yeah.
If generally once you sort of have a direction, if you want to set goals for yourself over like the course of the day or even 2 days and say I would be doing this over that time, we can have some kind of quick choices, choose between a few options, make roll if need be, and just move forward with having done some of those things, or montage through a few scenes or something like that are representative of the process. Which goes for things like hiring staff if Buckle wants to be involved with the guards process, or like otherwise preparing the manor house, holding earth, etc. Whatever it is that you would like to do on that front. But I presume Buckle is going to be doing some watch. Rav and Avery, as per usual, you only need your 4 hours, so you have more night than the others to do with what you will.
Rav is going to spend the extra 4 hours writing a play.
I'm very excited for that information.
Can I spend the other 4 hours sleuthing around the castle, like in the shadows?
Yeah, you can do that. Do you have when you say sleuthing, what would Avery be doing?
I just want to check out the place for any hidden tunnels that people might not know about, or behind paintings, if there's anywhere people could be sneaking in or out of the castle, the manor.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. With your 4 extra hours, just be creeping around. I guess the first question is, do you care about being seen doing that, or are you just walking around doing it?
I'll presume some of the staff are terrified of you after your interrogation.
Display.
Yeah, so I want to be in the shadows, but only because I want to creep them out further.
Okay, so
intimidate.
So you can make a stealth check and then an investigation check to represent your work over that time.
Awesome. Alright. Investigation is... Wait, why can't I find... Where is it? Why can't I find it?
It's in around the middle, upper middle section.
Yeah.
The eyes.
Oh, so it just says 15. What do I...
Is that just a raw roll? Or did you add your modifier to it?
Oh, I think it's a +5.
Oh.
Rough night of it. Okay, so that's investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. And then stealth. And then Buckle, if you're going to do a guard shift, you can make a perception check as well.
Cool.
Well, hopefully I'm stealthy.
Oh.
13. Okay.
And here is perception. Yeah. Oh, great.
Wow. Just smashing them. Okay. Great time to shout out Matt Day, our technomancer in residence, who created roll cast for us. Okay, so the strongest roll out of that bit was a 13 for stealth for you, Avery. As you let's see. Well, Buckle, when would you take your shift? Early in the night or late?
Early.
Okay, so this is a new environment. It is dark. You have that like situation of someone who stepped into management of a workplace they've never been to. You occasionally are like turning around corners and like suddenly too close to one of the other guards who was just sitting there, and you like forgot they were there when you came by, and it's like an awkward yep, okay.
Also I'm wearing plate armor that feels like a tracksuit.
Yes. So you are like not loud, which means you actually accidentally surprise people a few times cruising around those corners.
It would be funny if at one point I get scared seeing Avery.
Which I would say you might if it were not for the fact that your passive Buckle is 10 and Avery rolled a 13.
Oh,
so
fair.
unless Avery wants you to see her, you won't.
You might run into Rav balling up pieces of parchment and saying, "It's bollocks." Well, if Rav leaves your writing quarters, then you would, because your passive's quite high, probably at some point see Avery. But it depends on if you're just staying put. He prefers to roam the halls in his bathrobe when writing.
Eventually you would see. Yeah, go ahead.
At one point I see Bertram and I think I've seen a ghost.
I can't wait till he dies.
You actually do see Bertram in one of these weird around the corner moments, Buckle, and he looks surprised as well, and sort of like clears his throat and keeps walking down the hallway. Let's see, Avery. Again, new place. You've spent fair amount of time of your life in fancy establishments you don't like, and you've been in the place for a little bit, but a lot of the usual suspects don't seem to be turning up results. You're looking around at portraits to see if any of them are a bit wibbly wobbly, like putting your feet on floorboards to look for like extra creaky ones or strange noises, which is sort of interfering with your stealth project. But in general, you go unseen, as far as you can tell. One of the guards, who is not Buckle, does sort of look up with alarm down the hallway. And it's one of those things where it's like a moment when you've stepped into moonlight through the window and like your face is clear. And it's Therion, who sort of like takes a breath and puts his spear back down. Just kind of nods quizzically at you. But
I'm going to use minor illusion to cast a finger that's going to go up to Therion's lips and just be like...
So it'll like manifest right in front of him still. Yeah, okay.
And then I'm gone.
Just like this, in the wall.
Yeah.
It was like a tapestry hanging and I'm just...
Yeah. Always behind an arras. But yeah, you don't turn up anything scurrilous in your investigations. You do sort of manage to get a bit of a layout of the place. The bottom floor is pretty big. You've got a couple of major rooms in the central area, the ballroom, and then sort of a large sitting room. And then there are some smaller rooms in the back section of the house, a couple of little offices, and then quarters that are for like preparation. There's kitchens out in another outbuilding, but there's a kind of prep station where things get brought in and there's things stored. There's also, of course, the office, which for the early part of the night anyway, Vela, well, the door is closed, so there's like light flickering in from underneath that door, but it's clear that someone is in there working, and every so often going by there, I think, Avery, you would hear like muffled tones of conversation. But I don't think you would see who's going in or out of it or anything like that as you're going through. I think that covers all of the checks we just rolled, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. In which case, you may, all of you, click through your long rest. It is the 21st of Peas Blossom. You are about a third of the way, or actually, you're about halfway through spring now. So it is a cool morning and a bit cloudy with some breeze, but not cold. The grounds of the castle, or the manor, are quiet. There's just the occasional weary footstep of some guards who have been woken during the night for their shift. And you have the morning ahead of you. If you are hungry, breakfast types, you'll find that there has been some food laid out on the central dining table. And Myra is there. She is not eating. She seems to have already eaten. Wouldn't that be a wild slip if that is what it turned out to have been happen? But she is busily speaking to people as they come in. She'll like sit down and then immediately get back up as someone she made a mental note to talk to comes through the room. And so for the amount of staff that are here, it is still quite busy. She's got a sheet in front of her that is like a long running sheet of tasks and things to do for today. Bertram will eventually come in looking quite weary himself. And Rivers and Vela, I think last of all of the folks who are around, will come in to sit down to eat. But a lot of you can come in as you think your characters would over the course of the morning.
Rav comes in scribbling on some parchment, and he has his mage hand behind him also scribbling on parchment.
Revelor, may I ask how many players will be in this play?
Excellent question, Podrick. I thank thee for posing it. I would say 50?
Cool. Great.
But I would take 60 if thou couldst provide them.
Podrick looks at the group and goes, are we all playing?
Oh, indeed. Why, 'tis imperative that each of you takes 10 or 11 rolls.
I will be too busy guarding the event to take part in it.
Nay, Buckle, sweet Buckle. And Rav gets really close to his face because he's just sleep deprived right now and he's crazed. And he goes, "'Tis immersive, Buckle. Thou art both within the play and outside of it. Thou canst guard it and be the thing that thou art guarding."
As long as I do not have to memorize anything, so be it.
Well, I'm not one to say no to some improvisation. Mage hand, take note. And Mage hand just starts slashing dialogue.
Buckle is scanning the room for like potential future guards who would be good candidates.
Just among the servants?
Yeah.
Who are coming through? Okay. Make an insight check, Buckle.
Oh no.
Inside. Mm-hmm.
Please be a nat 20.
Oh, no.
5.
Oh, no.
You know, a lot of not soldier types walking around. Into your trained eye, it's pretty clear that most of these folks are, I would say, low muscle mass, all sorts height-wise, but like generally looking very tired, some bags under the eyes, bumbling about, taking orders from Myra, and you know what? It's an obedient bunch. You can definitely pick that out. It seems that they're following orders well and eagerly.
Perfect for actors.
Mayhap we'll have to go on a recruitment drive.
I could not agree more, Caliban. And Rav starts scanning the room for potential actors.
Make an insight check, Rav.
Well, it'll be higher than Buckles because it's +6. So.
Yeah.
Get him out of the way.
Get
him out of the way.
Yeah.
Rav, no matter where you look, all you see are roles you were meant to play. In the halting step of a serving boy, you see such pathos, such real life. It's moving. It's true. How could you do it? How could you do it? It's hard to see the skill. All you're seeing is truth. Just people living as they are. Evaluating, how could you do it? It's hard to pick up anything other than their dedication to their work.
Rav rushes forward to a few of them and starts taking their measurements.
They will do their best to politely wait for you to say something and then get on with the thing they're supposed to be doing. Once you seem to be finished with that, but very confused. Myra, as soon as the last of you, whoever it is that comes down last, is there, she will start. She'll finally sit down and actually stay seated. Say, now then, Captain Buckle, I presume you've noticed how understaffed we are in terms of our protection. I have a proposition for you.
Ooh.
Oh, indeed. I was hoping for such a proposition, in fact.
Yes, well, you see, Bertram and I were thinking that you do cut quite a dashing figure in that armor, and there are a number of people who maybe have not absconded very far from the manor in their fear of the plague. It could be that if you and some others from here were to move about some of the environing villages, hamlets, and whatnot, very visible and shiny in your armor, mayhaps some willing candidates or previously employed will come to their senses or be intrigued enough to be recruited.
That is a marvelous idea, but would it be safe for me to leave the premises, considering how strong I am?
While Myra talks, Rav is measuring her.
Yes, of course, that is a thing to consider, and perhaps one of your guards or some whom you trust could remain here as a representative of your strength. For you see, the sooner that we are able to get more people here, the more at liberty all will be to come and go without fearing for the ground's safety.
I completely agree. More guards folk is certainly a priority, or should be a priority. In that case, I will go today to a village.
Excellent.
With someone.
I'll go with you.
I shall attend as well, for I am especially eager to find women and men below 5 foot to play the children.
Does that mean that, Padraig, you'll stay with me to help me talk to the dead ex... the ex thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Who are we talking to?
To Bramilla.
Oh. Yep.
Also, Lady Myra, is
You may simply call me Myra, but I
Very well.
appreciate it.
Rabbit's measuring her
confused
feet.
by the honorifics because I only arrived here 2 days ago.
Of course, we shall have you up to speed very soon.
I look forward to it. Is there any update on Lord Edmund's arrival?
Alas, no. We are not certain. My Lord Rivers, who sort of like nods sleepily across the table,
Nod.
says that we are to expect him within the next 2 days at maximum. Part of why I've risen early and been hoping to expedite things. I have already, of course, sent some of our more stalwart folk around to rustle up some who might be interested in filling out remaining staff positions for valets and servants and such. We might be a bit longer on some of the higher level positions, but when I can get someone to go to Haleford, perhaps we'll get a few professionals, and that will sort us. But in the meantime, we need hands for swords.
Indeed we do. And if I find people better suited to work inside the house, I will send them your way.
Excellent. Asks too.
Queen Myra, dost
my.
thou know his inseam?
Whose?
Edmund's.
Certainly not.
Dost thou
But,
know his wingspan?
I will say that he is a portly man, but of broad chest, with shortish arms for his height, I should think, but well muscled.
Did thou get that all, mage hand? Good.
Should I ask?
Oh.
Very well. This does bring me to what I was hoping to verify, but it seems that if the most of you are to help us strengthen our retainers, and some of you are to remain, perhaps then we can discuss future preparations when those of you return, hopefully well stocked. Now, do I understand correctly, Arwen, that you have a task of a rather sensitive nature to accomplish today?
Indeed.
And you are to be helping then, Patrick.
What are we doing?
We are.
She's gotten kind of awkward. She's like leaning forward, like Vela and Rivers are on the other side of the table, and she's like trying to have this conversation quietly without seeming like that's what she's doing.
We are inviting the spirit of either Lila or Brunilla back into her body to ask her questions for maybe 10 minutes.
Well,
Yep.
very well. I shall perhaps speak with my lady to see how she wishes to be apprised of that. But we are all eager to know what you find. Perhaps if the two of you could meet with us in my lady's office after you have accomplished this, we can discuss whatever falls forward from that.
Of course.
Myra,
Yes.
hast thou any quarters or people on staff who might be good with herbalism?
Well, now that you mention it, there was Miss Dahlia, I think. I believe she is still here. She works in the kitchens, perhaps naturally. She have been handy of a time or two when we were not able a doctor to bring forward with some local remedies. I'm sure that she could be of whatever assistance you require. I don't believe she is one of ours who has departed.
Could you have her come see me?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. That is all. Away.
Well,
to get Dahlia at heads. For this is of great import.
Roderick, I am aware that all of you are from far away and have found yourself in an unfamiliar place. I can assure you I am neither a queen nor a servant to any but my lady.
My apologies, I'm very confused.
But Myra, to me thou art a queen, for I have cast thee as such in my play.
And then we all bow. Roderick's bow.
Speak for me.
All of a sudden, Project controls us all.
Bravo, I cannot say that the attitude of your address is unwelcome, but I am afraid my duties and skills do not include mummery or stage acting.
Exactly. It is exactly why thou art needed upon the stage, Myra. For listen here, I want none of this mummery or acting. What I want is truth. Real truth. Lived human experience. He's this far from her face now.
Well then, I understand it that you have the means to magically ensure that is the case, and I can assure you that I will not tell you a lie. I hope that suits your purpose. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some more sorting to do with my late lady's papers. There are some things I am not yet abreast of, the most recent affairs. Hopefully, once those are in order, we can have some semblance of normality here. If you'll all excuse me, I look forward to seeing the candidates that you bring back, Captain Buckle, and hearing what you find, Barwin. Good morning. She's going to get up and head away, and then come back and grab her sheet of things that she is working her way through, and begin with a kind of charcoal pencil.
Before you go, Myra, I hand her the notebook.
What is this?
This was on one of the prisoners.
See. Well, some of us today are actors and some writers. Well, I shall hold on to this and show it to my lady later.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you, Captain. Good day. You will head off.
Rav whispers under his breath, "She's my muse."
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
I imagine I will not have much time, and I need help with the questions. What will thou ask?
Oh.
I would ask for her inseam.
I can surely get that without her telling me.
Did she or she?
Hey, ask Mayhap why Worthington was sent away, perhaps. Although we know he's a cad and a deceiver. So, what do we really need to get out of the Thane that was?
Mayhap ask her to say something nice to Vela, to appease her of her new thaneship.
I, from my understanding of other clerics who have done such a work of necromancy as this, I will not be able to convince her of something she did not believe before she passed. But I can ask her what she would if perhaps she could say something to Vela. I will not be sure if it will work, but...
Mayhap we ask if there's any proof that she had of the uncle's deceit. If she was indeed aware that she was about to be deceived, but
perhaps also anything she knows of his number or weaknesses.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
How were the assassins able to sneak into the castle and pass the guard?
Well, we know now of the secret passages, I believe. But perhaps more information on that would be useful.
Canst thou ask her what death is like?
I do not wish to have that question
I
answered.
don't want to know, yeah.
I really wish to know, Raveler.
I do.
I may regret saying this, Raveler, but thou canst find out.
Art thou threatening me, Barlin?
Oh, no, I am not threatening you, but such magics have been done. People have died and have been returned to their life prior for myself.
Thou speaks true.
I just not.
Why, I am of two minds about this information. For on the one hand, I'm fascinated. But on the other, I do fear me that now, knowing this, we shall never be truly rid of Botrum. But now I know 'tis possible for him to come back.
And I would do all in my power, Ravelor, to ensure that happens. For in fact, I believe I have done so once already.
Thank you
Oh, there he is.
kindly for that, dear Barwin.
Right.
He's behind you.
He's just been sitting on the other side of the table the whole time. Just as per usual, you're talking about him like he's not there.
I'm sorry, good person.
No apologies needed. I am here breathing, I believe, still, because of you.
Unfortunately.
Your ministrations. In spite of some others' wishes.
I like you. You're alright by me.
Thank you, Taliban.
What is thy inseam?
What is?
What is thy inseam measurements?
27.
Very well, then I have a part for thee. Thou shalt play a dull rock that the main character must drag with him to the ends of the earth and back. Therefore, burden a human anchor, a weight upon the world. That shall be thee.
Ravelorm, what is thine inseam?
Well, I have not measured it recently, for I am the playwright and the director, and I have no need of knowing it.
I'm gonna
Very
grab
well.
the tape measure and measure it. 6.
I love he's got the bag in his pants. He's like a fresh
I
prince
don't
or
think you
something.
would have seen it.
These are going to be booty shorts.
Honestly, Rasmus with pride. He bats Avery's hand away. Thou canst not touch me there anymore. Thou had thy opportunity.
Oh, I only asked because I was hoping that at some point I might be able to knit you some manners.
Oh, snap.
Do not snap, Taliban.
Oh, a
Oh,
6
I was
sounds like a
snapping my
perfect fit.
carrot. I have a carrot here. I was just snapping a carrot. Oh, snap.
Thou shalt not take beast Botrum. Botrum? I have for thee a witty retort, but lucky for thee, I am saving all my creative juices for the play.
Well then, I shall have to content myself with a package so delayed.
But Bertram, to clarify, I personally do not hold any disdain towards you. I simply keep forgetting thou art alive.
Between the two of these options, Captain, I prefer yours, especially while you are so attired.
Let's go.
I agree. Yeah.
Yes, I think that is for the best. I do hope you find many suitable candidates who are unlikely to betray us.
When he talks, it is like a buzzing in mine ears.
Ah, that reminds me, I should go avail myself of the armory and see if there's some way I can be of use there. Good morning.
To the horsery.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
In this horsery.
I'll take this one.
You have some options. So you can go by like cart. Rivers' carriage is still there as well. There's a number of fine horses if you would rather ride singly, the lot of you. How would you prefer to travel?
I would be heavy on a horse with this armor, I think.
You'd need a big horse. But then again, the armor is not that heavy.
It's light, yeah. Hey, mayhap we go by carriage just to add to our I don't know, what would you say? Yeah, our pomp.
Also, if we intend on bringing people back with us, we will need some way of transporting them.
Well, they can walk. They're already a bunch of deserters. They're lucky we don't slice them in twain.
Well, Caliban, thou art most aggressive this morning.
Oh, I only had one carrot. You know what that's like.
Don't talk to Caliban before he's had his more than one carrots.
Yes, more than one carrot.
Mayhaps thou shouldst not have been wasting them by snapping them.
I ate the carrot.
And we're off.
Still good. It's still good once it's snapped.
This conversation's happening on the carriage.
Yeah. So, Buckle, if you'd like, you can bring one of the other guards with you, and/or a servant, someone who knows the area. There's a few people would offer their services. Marcus or Therion, for example, would say so.
I think we should take someone that does know some of the past guards, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'll bring Marcus.
He seems relieved to have something to do besides stand around the tent's manor house. All right.
Is it a tent?
The tents, Tense.
Ah.
That would be
I
tense.
thought the whole time it was like a tent manor house.
Giant circus tent. That's what you've been
We've been there before.
All right, let's go.
Padre Harwin, art thou okay on thine own? For if thou hast need of assistance, I can stay behind.
To be honest, Revelor, I think that if thou can stay focused, that would be of most use to Caliban. Or thou art a charismatic person, and perhaps you can help them convince and assuage their misgivings.
I shall do it, Barwin, because thou hast complimented me, and also because I'm afraid of dead people.
Keep that in mind, good Revelor, before you make such an inquiry as you had made earlier today.
Barwin, thou art spooky today, and I like it mostly.
Have a good day.
All right, we're off.
All right. Marcus sitting up front with whomever's driving, or Marcus can drive. No, Podrick has particular needs in that department as well. But he will guide you. Oh yeah, it's all right. You are. So no cart sickness needs to be catered for. Okay, so I imagine Buckle, you might be up front then, depending on how you
can drive. Marcus will drive. I will sit next to him.
Okay.
Front.
Okay. So then, Marcus will let you know as you're leaving that there are a number of small villages in near environs. The first of which you've already been to, just outside of the estate area, where you were at the Veiled Threat, and that is probably a logical first stop. So what we could do, we can frame this as kind of a skills challenge, sort of in steps, in stages. If you have a basic kind of plan for what you want to do and how each of you will contribute if you're contributing, we can have you each make a sequence of roles. And if we want to role play specific moments, we absolutely can. But otherwise, I can use that as a kind of barometer to say, okay, do you persuade people? How many? What do they like? Sort of thing. So we'll maybe set this up and then get to our Speak with Dead as a parallel track to that. So, what would each of you like to do? How are you?
I think I'm just going
this?
to follow Marcus around to crowded places, taverns, places where people hang out, and if he recognizes someone, I will let him start a conversation, and I'll follow up and do the pitch.
Okay.
And I'll try to see how many people I can get.
And I guess the pitch is about A, no plague. B, Donvale needs protecting. because it's about to be taken away.
And C, you get to see a play.
Yeah.
The three-handed pitch.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else we need to say other than that, your Thane needs you.
And also, you get to watch a play.
You also get to watch a play. But from the inception, even before it goes on to the Way of Broads.
Exactly.
I think I'm going to try and bribe people to come back with money. And then I'm going to sleight of hand it back from them.
This is how you
lie a lot about. I'm also going to lie a lot about the improved working conditions and benefits, like paid time off and gym membership.
Gym membership.
So Avery's going to be doing a hard sell as well, possibly in the greasing the wheels a little bit. Some coin.
I'm also going to use my glamour-studded armor to put a big scar on my face, so that I look like I've seen battle. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that.
But you have seen battle.
Yeah,
but does she look it?
I don't look it.
Okay. So we know what Buckle and Avery are getting up to. Calvin and Rav, how are you participating in this? If you are doing something specific,
I'm going to basically make the sound of a fanfare just before he speaks, so like a horn fanfare, in a way to make it seem even the more regal. And then maybe even the sound of a crowd cheering in the distance as we come forward, like we've been heralded the whole way we come into the town or something.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's Rav going to be doing during all of these?
As Arwen suggested, he's going to lend his charisma. Sorry, Barwin. Did I call you Arwen? Oh no, more IP.
If you want him, come and claim him.
Yeah, he's going to use his charisma and his dashing good looks to charm people into listening and being receptive to the information. And he's also using it to hype the play. He's come back to the castle, join the army. There's a brand new culture and art scene, and you get to see this beautiful immersive work of theater.
Okay.
There's a theater club in a gym now.
Okay. What I will do then is get a sequence of rolls, which I'll record here, and then when we come back to this side of things, we'll find out how it transpires across a number of locations.
Do we get any pluses, or it's just a general?
So I'll let you know depending on what you are doing. So most of these,
do I get a plus for Marcus?
I would say, Buckle, it depends on how you're contributing, because your presence is a kind of contribution. But what you described to me seemed more like you were assisting Marcus. Yeah. So as in you're coming up and basically being there, and then when he brings them along, you contribute a little bit there.
Yeah.
So I'll say that I am counting in as something that affects the DC of what the rest of this whole process. But for Avery and Rav, I think both of you need to make persuasion checks.
Can I do a deception check? Oh wait, what's that?
That's right, you are actually lying. So you can do a deception check. If you do actually want to give money and steal money, you need to make a sleight of hand check as well.
Also, I forgot to mention, Rav is keeping his eyes peeled for potential actors under 5 foot to play children.
Yep, you're doing that. Okay, so 16. Wow. Which one is that for, Avery?
That's my sleight of hand.
Okay.
And my deception is...
We surely haven't had a roll over 10 today, have we?
It's been some low rolling. Whoop, nope. That's a 12 for deception. Okay.
And you wanted from me persuasion or performance?
Well, it depends. If you're giving like a poem or a monologue, then you can do a performance. Obviously, performances can have slightly different effects than persuasion, but you can persuade people through performing. It's just more oblique.
What if it's a persuasive performance?
Like like some oratory. Lend me your ears.
Yeah, he's gonna use his lute, and he's gonna give like on all the world's a stage type speech.
Okay, so this is
The plague isn't real.
we'll call this. This is kind of like having advantage, but it won't be. You're going to make one performance check and one persuasion check, and the balance might determine what it's more like. Yeah.
Okay, this is persuasion.
God.
And this
I'm
is performance.
Genuinely afraid of what is going to happen in the second half of this episode with all these low rolls now.
Wow.
I thought you were getting an 18, and this is performance.
Yeah.
15.
We're all level
Okay.
1 again.
You've gotten like all of your results have been above 10.
Yeah.
You just have crazy good modifiers for most of the things that you're doing. Okay, and then Caliban. You are doing a performance of a sort as well. You are imitating, but you're also just good at that. You can mimic those things. So I would say make a performance check. It's not going to be for how accurate your mimicry and stuff is. This is about your timing, about your delivery. Like, when do you make these noises? Are you synergizing well with everyone? Really thought that was going to be a 1. Okay, 10 for Caliban.
First double figure roll. That's the first double figure roll, I think.
But are we still yet to break a 10?
On the actual roll?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. Okay. Now,
That day.
Buckle, since you are assisting Marcus, Marcus has a little bit of charisma. I would like you to roll with advantage and put a +2 as your modifier. So you're rolling on Marcus's behalf here, but you're assisting. If that makes sense.
Is that +2 to my existing modifier? Or
No,
+2?
so just roll 2d20s, take the higher, and add 2 to that.
Cool, because my charisma modifier is -1.
Yeah. Okay.
Yay.
Okay, we're happy about a 12, which is becoming a 14.
It was so close to a 20 though. Like,
Yeah, no, you flirted with it. Okay, so I've got those noted.
we
You
come
are
back with
arriving.
2 dudes.
Yeah, you're arriving at the veiled threat and gonna have a go at that, and I'll let you know how it turns out in just a little bit. But before we do that, it's time to flash back over to our manor house with Barwin and Podrick, who are now about to engage in a bit of necromancy.
Fight each
Have
other.
I seen Dahlia yet?
We can do that, yeah. Shortly after everyone departs, there will be a woman who's seems to be probably in her early 40s, dressed very plainly. She comes in with her hands apparently covered in flour, which she has gotten most of the excess off, but it's still coated all over her. And she's wiping it on her apron a bit. Her apron is filled with tinier little pockets, and she has rapidly graying hair that's pulled back in a close crop bun out of the way of her face. And she, like everyone, it seems a bit weary, but interested. What is it I may do to be of service for you?
Hello, Dahlia. I am Podrick. I need thy help with making a few potions. Thy hands look very experienced. with the mortar and pestle. Can you help me?
I can be of some use in that vein.
I-
What is it that you're needing to be made?
I need as many of this potion that you can possibly make today. I want as many Bard's Voice potions made.
Oh, perhaps you can elaborate a bit. Have you received a recipe for it?
Yeah, I hand over a recipe.
Yeah.
Hand over a recipe. It takes about 4 hours per potion.
Oh.
I know not how long I'll be, so I'll come back and help thee as soon as possible. But if you can get started, this would be very much appreciated.
I'll have a look in our storeroom. I think we might be able to make a start of it at the very least. If I'm missing something, I shall await your arrival to explain.
No worries. The recipe, the ingredients are very common. So
Good. But I'll make a start of it then, and I'll be certain to let you know if there's not to miss.
Thank you.
Right then. And then she'll very businesslike stride back out of the back way into one of the outbuildings where she came from.
Right. Okay, Barwin. What are we doing, Barwin?
We're going to do a spell to invite the spirit of Lila back into her corpse. For just a moment.
Okay.
To see
and you know this spell?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Or I could thorn whip her back in.
I am most certain that would not work. Nor would it help. In fact, she probably would not answer our questions if she does think us a threat.
My thorn whip is quite threatening.
And so you will leave it outside.
My thorn whip outside?
Yes.
Shall I not take my staff with me at all?
Perhaps it is for the best. You were right about checking the magic last time. If thou canst promise that thou will be on your best behavior.
I still think you owe me an apology.
What?
Is this not true? Or I did detect one last time.
Cast.
What?
I thought I did hear one about to stumble upon thy lips, but you took it back hastily.
I assure you, I remember not what thou art referring to. But if thou dost behave, assist me well, then I will give you an apology, if that is what thou will.
Okay then.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Patrick, I'm sorry. You're right. I was wrong.
Was that so hard?
Yes, it was really hard.
And Padrick hugs Barwin. Every time you say sorry, I shall hug thee. I know it brings you comfort and joy.
Why must I be wrong twice? Not right.
Come on, the dead awaits.
Well, we must need.
Skipping to the wall.
I need you to grab some moss or vine or leaves from outside.
Blood moss? Just normal moss.
Just normal moss.
I still have some blood moss left. Would it be stronger?
No, just regular moss shall be fine.
Moss, leaves, and twigs. What did you need?
Yes, that's perfect.
Great. Patrick goes out looking for mushrooms.
You don't have to roll for this, Patrick. Those are pretty common things, and you are a druid, so it would be pretty easy for you to find them if that is in fact what you choose to do.
Yeah.
Imagine being on mushrooms when you reawaken the dead.
There are some choices. We all make choices. That would be a choice.
Yeah. You should watch Nine Perfect Strangers.
Okay, so Patrick, you can find that. If you are looking for something fancier than that, you can make a roll to get a better lay of the land, but it'll take you longer.
Do I need fancier? I don't think I need fancier.
Up to what you think Patrick would do.
Backflips. probably. But he
Plenty of
won't.
room.
He won't. He just got an apology from Barwin and he's satisfied. So he grabs all of the nature he knows that he needs.
Okay. Then in a while, Podrick will come back. It's probably not more than 10 or 15 minutes to find all those things. Most of it's just time spent walking to some trees where moss is likely to grow, which are a bit of a leg away. But you're good to go once you've got that.
In that time, Balin would have taken out some incense and started lighting it and then walking around the course.
Mm-hmm.
Podrick, well done. Place it gently around her. If thou couldst hold the incense, I will invite her spirit back. And Bowen will, Bowen will touch the pendant on her chest, and she'll place her hand on the forehead of Lyla. Lyla was the Thane, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, of Lyla. And then she'll close her eyes and say, from lively day to deathly night, return once more to Soa's light. And then try and, through the pendant, send that power to invite her spirit back.
And Podrick starts going.
Barwin, as you utter your sacred rhyme, you can feel, as sometimes happens with these, that an extra layer of resonance starts to coat your voice, almost as though it's doubled and slightly off time, so that there is like this echo, this extra deeper quality. And then it is silent. And then the incense that is around in a circle suddenly ignites. And wind from nowhere begins to blow and move Podrick, your fur, and Barwin, your hair, back away from your faces. And then the smoke begins to fill the room as the incense is burned away. And then dissipates just enough so that you can see the corpse of Lila. Her chest suddenly rises. A ragged breath seems to fill her. Her neck still bloated horribly from the poison's effects, red and scaled skin. She twists and suddenly, with this kind of liberated vigor, breaks some of the hold that these massive growths seem to have on her neck, and that causes like a bit of pus and ichor to leak where the skin breaks. She looks right at you, but her eyes have no light. You can feel in your study, you've learned about soul and body and their relationship. Lila's soul is not here. You have not called her back from beyond in that way. But there is a third thing in between body and soul. And an echo of that third thing persists when a soul leaves. And what you have here in front of you is a small piece of Lila's spirit. That central thing between heaven and below. It moves everything. Life, heartbeat, everything that animates a creature is due to spirit and is spirit. And you have called it back, or awoken it in any way. Lila, or what was Lila, is staring there looking at you vacantly, expectantly.
Thank you. Thane. I have questions for you. First, do you know how those who assassinated you got into this manor?
traitors. Let them in. It was sleeping.
Do you have any proof of Edmund's deceit?
Only consequences, circumstantial points. I know he conspired.
Does thou know anything of his number or any weaknesses within his front that we could use to protect this house? Place.
He is proud, overbold. He will take with a strong hand. He believes he is right.
Why did she send Worthington away?
Afraid he delayed. Snake. He brought Edmund's plans to Maximilian, not mine. Those improvements will scuttle our fleet. Leave them vulnerable, slow, unable to defend.
Is there anything you would wish to say to Vela? Were you given the opportunity?
Heard her voice. I heard her cry behind the wall. I tried to free her. I could not. Would that she could have my place. Wish she were here. Sit in our space.
Thank you, Spirit. Rest ye now. Thou hast done all that thou needs to do.
And as she breathes, the incense that hangs between you suddenly begins to clear as though a roaring wind has come from nowhere again. The incense is gone from the floor, and your pendant, which was gleaming throughout, fades, and is as it once was. We are back. Welcome back, everyone, to Bardic Inspiration. It's time for the second half. Hope you got a stretch, got some tea. And if you're joining us on our YouTube channel, which you should be subscribing to if you're not already, then you didn't have a break at all. Take a break. You deserve it.
Take
for
a
you.
break.
And then come back and watch this.
We've done so much song IP from other places today.
There's got to be both a like pitch matching and durational threshold somewhere. But hey, it's all parody. That's what we'll say for Australian copyright law purposes. We left the Headless Marys in a split party, a much favored D&D strategy. Where some of you are doing a skills challenge to recruit some armed forces to fill out the ranks or refill the ranks that you lost due to fear of plague. You have done a round of that now at the Veiled Threat. And then meanwhile, back on the estate, we had Barwin and Podrig, who were up to a couple of things, one of which was speaking with the departed spirit of the former Thane, Lyla of Donvale, Vela's sister. Another is that Podrick has been setting up a kind of potion assembly line for some purposes that he has ahead of him, with Dahlia, one of the kitchen servants. Excuse me. So the first go at recruiting at the village just outside of Donvale's manor house had mixed results. You had a bit of a strange time working out your timing buckle, I think, when you were to introduce yourselves to people as Marcus was moving ahead and getting folks' attention. You were drawing a lot of attention. The armor, any room you walk into, that's where all eyes go. Wow. Yes. You certainly drew some attention that way. However, Rav, with your performance, your persuasive performance, you definitely did manage to keep people interested. Whereas people might have been looking out of fear and a little bit of awe, they pay attention to your speech, song. What is that performance like when you do that, Rav? What sort of a show do you put on?
A 5, 6, 7, 8.
All the world's a stage. In fact, everything be a hoax, and the greatest hoax of them all, the plague. For 'twas not real, I tell thee. Just as I hath said, a mask shall not protect thee. Nay, the only mask that shall protect thee from this plague be the theatrical mask. Indeed, a play.
A plague.
Just for that, you've warmed my Renaissance scholar heart with the MASQUE fun. Take a mode of inspiration for that one. Okay, and Rev, you notice that you're getting some interest from this. Now, obviously, this is a sidelong pitch alongside the actual recruitment effort. People do seem genuinely kind of surprised and taken aback that there is a performance being put on. There's murmurs, and then Avery, given that your appointed role here is to sort of shift through the crowds, talk to people bit by bit, exchange some gold, steal it back. You would hear as you're going through this, and I reckon Caliban, with your high passive perception and your introductory heavy roll, but not so much near the end, you have time to sort of listen in. Some people seem genuinely curious. Well, everyone seems curious. Some people seem positively curious. Some people seem afraid. Avery, you overhear a few people as you're nicking the coins back from them, saying, "Oh, I wouldn't trust the heirs around that house just yet. I'm sure it's still foul with plague." And then some other people seem like, "Well, it might be nice to go see the old place again. It is lovely this time of year."
Yeah, they sound like killers, right?
Yeah. Well, it's all sorts in this, in the pub and the environs, right? And people start coming in from the outside area. People are looking at the carriage. It's the second time in as many days that this carriage has been here, so people are kind of like primed to come see what's up. You do get a bit of a crowd, and yeah, there's apparently mixed response. For the purposes of our skills challenge, you feel pretty confident that about 10 people either say that they are going to turn up at the estate, or like very straightforwardly say they want to work. And to your eye, Buckle, and Marcus is with you there as well. They're at least look like they could fill out some armor. The ones who are interested, the few who are there. There's a few who are promised. There's, for example, a few people who are older who say, "Oh, my nephew, he's a strapping farmhand. He's working the fields, of course, but he'd love a chance to put on such regalia as this, or even to serve." And they kind of go trumbling off. But you've got 10 names to expect. That Marcus is sort of noting down as he talks to people.
Is this 10 people specifically to be guards, or 10 people for guards and actors and Myra's people?
This is people who are interested in being guards.
We're just going for guards, aren't we? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're looking for actors as well, Rev, I'll let you make one more persuasion check as you're on point with the actor part of things.
We're just looking for halflings, right, to play children.
Bonus points if they're a halfling.
Okay.
Because I always forget to use my inspo dice, I'm gonna just use it now.
Okay. Have you already made the first roll and decided that?
No, I was gonna roll on screen.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you can choose to use that roll after the first roll if you like. If you roll really well the first time, you don't have to burn it.
And did you say performance or persuasion?
Persuasion. You are inviting people to be actors who are not actors. They need some.
Actually, Adam,
persuasion.
That's not accurate. I'm
You're
excavating
right.
the
You're
actors
right.
within.
You're asking them to do the weirdest part-time work they've ever done in their life.
And it's unpaid, by the way.
Exposure.
The weirdest internship of their lives. First froyo, now unpaid interns with fantasy. Okay. Rav, you find some folks who are day drunk, and they just like keep calling you back over to the table to like get you to re-explain what you were saying, and then they clearly bicker amongst themselves, be like, no, Nate, he said not this. This is not this. This is Nate. Forsooth, you would not have us be actors in a play, truly.
Indeed, sir. With cheekbones like thine? Why, thou wouldst have to pay me to keep thee from the stage.
Oh, cheekbones, she said. They're happy. They're excited. They're ribbing each other. They're a bit drunk. It might be some of the crew actually that Buckle drank with or near last time. You would recognize a few faces. They probably
eye contact with all of them.
Yeah, you got your armor. They probably don't recognize you in the armor at this point. But they seem keen. They're like, all right, we'll turn up. What else are we gonna do? You've definitely gotten a corner of the lackadaisical market in this pub. You reckon at least 4 or 5 of them are gonna rock up later today.
Great.
Most likely. So this is the form of the challenge. Now you've got another 2 places, Marcus tells you, within reasonable carriaging distance. So I might get each of you now, unless you want to revise your strategy.
As we're going, I might just say to Buckle, mayhap the strategy is we could go along the lines of, now is the time to strike for maximum employment development. For you only went to this building yesterday, and now you're already captain of the guard. So imagine the opportunities that befall the people if they choose to come back and fight for Donvale.
Tis a great idea, Caliban. And I get the people who I was drinking with yesterday, and I was like, sirs, was I not be drunkarded with these only yesterday? Look at me now. This could be you.
Nay, no. Truth, sir, Captain. What? You... And then there's an older guy sitting back there who's like, what did I say to thee? Those who work hard be suckers.
Hey.
Sit ye in a pub, get drunk of a daytime, and you'll see yourself pretty sat. Pretty sat, sitting pretty. And then he stands up and says, good masters, I presume that by next 10 day, I shall be steward of Halefoot. And then he falls forward onto the table.
That went really well.
Yeah. They seem intrigued. Like at the very least, those folks are like, we got to see what happens here. At the very least, and they're already drunk, so a little bit less concerned.
On to the next location.
Let's definitely not interrogate the morals of enlisting people into a military type situation when they're inebriated. Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Well, no one drinks water.
Small beer all day. It's like 1-2%. Okay, so you're gonna have 2 more of these locations. Now I can, if you want to make the same sort of rolls, I can just have you do all of those now and we can tabulate them up. Or if you want to shake up your strategy at all, just let me know and I'll tell you if you need a different roll to accomplish that.
Yeah, I might also just support in the crowd by making general mutterings of, oh, maybe we should be doing all we can and that sort of thing. Just kind of, like Bart Simpson going around going, hey, check out this guy,
Yeah, with your mimicry feature, that would be pretty easy for you to accomplish. So in that case, this is kind of a you assisting. Either you can make a persuasion check alongside Rav or Buckle, or you can afford one of them advantage. I would say Rav, since Buckle's probably already going with.
Shotgun not making a persuasion check.
Yeah, I've got persuasion on +3.
I'm +10.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I'm gonna help Ravelor, and hopefully so Ravelor can do it with advantage.
Okay.
Is that
so
true?
Rav can make a persuasion check with advantage as part of this next bit. Avery, are you going about your same business, deceiving and stealing?
Yep, same strategy. Okay.
Incidentally, with the 16, you don't think you got noticed getting your money back, and you were successful in doing that with everybody. You seem to have gotten away with that. Okay, round 2 is at another sort of small village that is nearer to the seaside. So it's the furthest distance that you have to go before making your way back towards the river, and then up the river towards the manor house. So at the end of your trip, you are at a new village, which likewise has a kind of tavern. This seems to be more of a kind of fishing place. So there aren't so much like bakeries and things like that around. It's more like workshops where small boats are being repaired, fishing and tackle gear is getting made. The people who are out and about are along the docks. And there are some people, given the time of day, who've actually come in from their morning fish. So you actually do have a bit more of a crowd here than you did at the last place, where people were kind of out in the fields and doing like that at home.
Something I meant to ask at the last town and I forgot that I want to do here. I want to add in addition to what we're doing, I want to slip in. I want to ask them if they've heard of Lord Edmund.
Yeah.
And
okay.
If he's,
what they know about him or what they think of him, kind of thing.
Or like if they've heard anything from him lately.
Okay.
And Rav will slip in to ask if they know his inseam. No, we already learned that. It's 27.
No, that was
Bertram's. But clearly he's on your mind. Okay, so then
I love
in that case,
you're like basing costuming decisions based on the person that the character's based on.
Is it warming your theater teacher heart, Ryan? Okay, so let's go down the list I've got here. Avery, I'll need your sleight of hand and your deception.
All right, sleight of hand.
We're on a hot streak. We're still on it.
And deception.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What does that even mean? She
There's gonna be a mob.
They don't believe her?
No, they don't believe my lies about the gym and the improved benefits.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's a 14 and a 9. Rav.
I'm rolling twice.
You'll roll. So just like last time, you'll get a performance check, and then you'll make your persuasion check with advantage because you are like selling the sizzle, but you've also got some stake. That makes sense.
Do I ever? All right, this is persuasion.
Oh my god.
I did
Big
this.
day. Such a big day.
confusingly.
All right, so that is a 17.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it. You get
For
it.
persuasion. Yeah.
So close to breaking.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, 15 for performance.
Nice today.
Consistent?
I'm so glad we don't have a battle.
Oh, why would you say that out loud?
Watch you. You're all rolling nat 20s for
because they
initiative.
just- yeah.
Okay, now then, Buckle, you can once more make your persuasion check with advantage with a +2 modifier, as you are doing your double act with Marcus.
Hey, same score, 16.
Okay. Yeah. 16.
Continuing my streak of being the only person to roll more than 10.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe that is them's all the rolls.
If we
Okay.
sense the battle coming, we should just filibuster.
You also were interested in kind of getting a sense of the crowd. A couple of things are going down at the second place. One, you've got into a bit more of a rhythm, Buckle, with your pitch. You realize it seems to be going a bit better when Marcus is doing the talking, and then you are doing the standing. You are in many ways like a billboard yourself, right? Like you just like stand there, look dashing and pretty intimidating. And a lot of people you notice are just kind of like, even the ones who aren't even listening to Marcus are just like staring at that armor and like
I have
elbowing
the visor
themselves.
down.
Yeah, right. And some people seem to recognize it. One of the older folks in the crowd who is sitting at a table kind of comes up, doesn't come like close to you or anything to break your bubble, but when Marcus finishes speaking, says, "Does my heart good to see that fine armor in service again."
I don't move.
He just sort of bows his head, and then Marcus, taking the opportunity, says, "Yes, of course. Verily, there is. We have a new captain, as I was just saying, Captain Buckle, who hath seen many travails in his storied times to the north, and hath come here in service to the true Thane of Donvale, Lyla, who requests your humble service. If you would stand with Captain Buckle to protect your Thane when now she needeth thee most," etc., etc., etc. Rav, you're in your groove. You've established how you're going to do this. It comes quicker to you, and you have a bigger crowd to work with this time. So you have the that sort of actor sense of the sort of proportion of people interested in the last place. It seems to be similar, but now it's more people. So you think you've got more people on side. It's a bit louder as a result, even though you're outdoors and you're having to sort of pitch yourself a little bit differently, a bit more booming, a bit more projection. But it seems to be going well. There's a handful of folks who clearly don't look like soldier material, but are just interested in watching you. And one of them sees to be very interested in watching you. You definitely clock that as you're going.
What do they look like?
He is a human man, probably about 23. He's tall, and he's got his hands full of fishing net, which he seems to be unraveling and cutting apart, but has stopped what he's doing and is just sort of looking at you. He's got kind of like rugged features, like stubble, and is like weathered more than his age could suggest. He clearly is outside in the sun all the time, but he looks like a real strong guy. And he's just like, just kind of like hanging on every word. Even when someone else is speaking, he's clearly just watching you, Rav.
Rav. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Rav walks over to him when he's done with his presentation, and he puts his fingers in the net and goes, "Thou hast caught one."
That's his reaction.
What wilt thou do with it? Wilt thou throw it back or have it for dinner?
I am fearful hungry.
Aye. And what art thou hungry for?
Oh, I have no pretty answers.
Then I shall have thine ugly one.
Caliban, as you are going through the crowd, making your insinuations, you do seem to be timing these things well and kind of moving in your stealthy speed out of the way in case anyone does turn around and look for who was saying it. On the other hand, Avery, you have a bit less luck this time. There's one person who seems really hung up on this claim. Now, what is it about a gym you're saying? You mean a place on the grounds where we're meant to lift heavy things instead of be working?
Aye, exactly. You go.
No, Jim, come here. She says there's a place, and so on and so on. Like, this person gets like a little handful of people, like, and just keeps saying the same thing over and over, and people are like, oh no, there's no way, that's not why. And then people start debating the merits of even lifting heavy things in the first place. Someone's like, I heard you can just run around lots, and that's better for you. And someone says, run around lots? What are you, a child? A child? You should be working. And it's just like, it's difficult, to get a bead on them to even start the conversation about paying them. A few people gladly take your money when you get the opportunity. And you manage to get your money back from a few of them. But one of them catches you in the act, lurks around and see you doing that. What would Avery do in that situation?
Oh no.
Initiative.
The first thing I'm going to try and do is flirt. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to kill.
Oh no, please work.
I have a feeling you're much better at one of those than the other.
How does Avery flirt?
So, who is it who's caught my hand?
Well, they don't grab your hand. It's more of a like, they look down and see your hand reaching. Like, you are mid going for
Say you
what
were
you're
just
doing.
looking for his inseam.
Did you know you have a beetle in your pants?
Oh, what?
Then I'll call back to a one
That has to be
Episode title.
the strangest line any soul I've ever tried to use on a beetle. Hey, Jim, come here a minute. He said, I have a beetle. It's the same Jim. He was over the other place, and they're still talking about the gym. And he's called this Jim over to talk, not about the gymnasium, but about...
Well, I'm going to get Marcel to make himself.
Okay, switch to an intimidation check then.
No, I can use my sword that moves water to make him shit himself. Literally.
Oh, you're gonna cast a spell with your
Yeah.
sword to
Yeah.
make water
Holy shit.
appear.
I thought you were going with a suppository.
Okay, no, I need to be specific about this. You're trying to actually create a bowel movement using control water. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think has that ever been done. That's what I want.
So, I mean, look, this is not strictly rules as written according to how that spell works. However, nor was it strictly rules as written for you to be able to pull that coagulated blood out of a corpse. Here's the deal. You had a lot of help from Barwin doing that. It's not specifically what the spell's for, but you were able to figure it out. I'll let you cast this spell and make an Arcana check.
Oh no.
I realize you might not be proficient in that, but this represents your knowledge of and control over magic. You've only used this sword a few times, so
This is gonna be the Yori blob again.
You mean water, Yori?
just bottoming out today. Okay, Avery, you have no idea how to make this spell accomplish that. It is very hard to focus it. This is the cantrip that you're using, right? Control water. Okay. Instead of creating a bowel movement, the pier just behind where he is standing suddenly just like erupts with water, and a kind of like stream moving up within a 5-foot cube, which is what it's able to manipulate, and water like splashes up everywhere. People are like, whoa! Which does, among other things, give you an opportunity to get to walk away if you want to. They seem very disturbed by that.
Okay, alright, I'm just gonna walk away. And then I'm gonna shout, he shot himself!
Okay, however, being that as it may, Avery's roles were sort of happening peripherally there. You did achieve 3 successes on this challenge, which is better than last time. You reckon with the higher crowd and with the sort of keenness of folks surrounding both Buckle and Rav, you can rely on 20 people turning up at some point later today or first thing tomorrow morning.
Right.
20 each?
20 no,
guards
20
and
20 total.
actors?
So it was 10 from the first place, 20 from the second. You're at 30 total that you've
But
recruited.
are they guards or actors?
These are for guards. If you're I had you roll for specifically actors earlier. You got 5, Rav. If you want to make another persuasion roll to get some actors from this group, you can.
Well, what happened with Mr. Hottie at the net? That's what I want to know.
This is a matter for recruitment. He looks like a pretty big guy. Do you want to
reel him in?
Oh, he's hanging on your every word at this point. You've definitely got him,
put him
for,
in
for whichever.
Put him in armor, surely.
Ravelor, surely this gentleman is more appropriate to be a guardsman.
Nay, why he is mine, because I saw him first and I shall keep him. Buckle, get thine own sexual playthings.
Oh my god.
I turned to some of the new recruits. I'm like, no. This we will be working together, nothing more. I guarantee it.
Well, I wish I could say the same to you, good sir, but I have plans for thee of a sexual nature. What dost thou say?
God.
Oh, I have a good ugly answer for that one, but I just as soon say it in private.
Well, indeed, thou shalt have the chance if thou should wish it. Thou needst not make up thy mind now. I do like it when thou dost play hard to get. Come along, in the carriage.
He stands up. He says, "My mind is one mind. When I make it, 'tis made." And he goes and walks over to the carriage. Sits
And
on the
what
back.
is thy name? Oh, there'll be time for that later.
Okay. You have got 20 guards folk from here, and Rav, I think you can be pretty confident that at least some folks who want to watch this play might
the
come
play,
along
right?
from here.
Sorry.
Yeah. A handful of them might be convinced to be participants in some way. I would like for us to flash back over to Donvale Manor, where Barwin has just finished, or has finished doing Speak with Dead, and Podrick, you have your potion crafting up too. If you'd like to, you can split up and accomplish that separately, or the two of you can go and meet up with Lila and Myra. What would you like to do?
Does that still need my assistance?
No, I have nothing more left to do for reporting to Lila. Does that need help with any potions, or?
Can Stel make some?
Well, surely try. Perhaps we should meet Vela first, and then I can give you my good efforts the rest of the day.
Sure. I shall teach you. I'm trying to teach Avery.
Oh, how is
She does not seem as obedient as you.
I will take good tutorly from me.
I love that pause. That pause and that look was so good. Obedient.
Every so often, Barwin has a real personal growth or tolerance increase episode.
She's truly tested often.
Okay, so the two of you going to report to Vela together and then going together to the kitchens area.
Yeah.
You can do so. You will find Myra studiously at work, transferring some things from papers, and just every so often putting something in front of Vela. Myra is in her element, and you walk into a kind of storm of productivity. There are so many plates spinning in this metaphorical act. Bertram is seems to have just returned recently from his trip to the armory, and he's got some inventory in front of him. And every so often, without even looking up, just shouts a question, which Myra, who is in mid-sentence talking to Rivers about something, will just turn, give a response, and then go back, pulling something out of her drawers and passing it wordlessly to Vela at the same time. It is like it's very happening in there. When you come in, however, everyone stops. And Vela straightens and says, when is it done?
He's done. Vela.
Oh, what have you learned?
I'm afraid I've not learned a great deal more than we could already have surmised. That it was indeed those traitorous staff members whom we have found who aided Edmund's plan. Lila did mention that he is proud and overbold, which perhaps we could already have surmised, but that may be of some use to us in handling him.
But it may.
I asked her what she would wish to say to thee.
It.
I did. I hope you do not mind.
Nay.
Of course, it was not her soul and full body and spirit, but just a part that remained. But she did give an impassioned wish that you were to be alive. And so in such, she hath been given her wish, for thou art. And she is truly rested now.
Thank you for this. Good Barwin. Wish that I had been able, that she could have known.
Lila, I know not the true nature of what happens when one passes on. But what I do know is what I spoke to was an image. what she was when she was alive. I truly believe that she doth know all that you have done and how well you are. You need not fear.
Well, we may not be able to admit my sister's dead testimony to any kind of court of mortal law, but I confess I have some measure of peace in the knowing. Thank you, Barwin.
Of course.
Perhaps there is something that can be gleaned from what you have just said to me. He is overbold and proud. Those who are overbold may underestimate. It's the thing my mother was fond of saying. I do not think Lila would have used those words lightly. Oh, but she is clever. Even in death. Then we must surprise him. He is coming here believing that he shall walk into panic and turmoil. Well, he shall not find it. We must be resolute. We must be prepared, and we must have such force as force can be rallied. Podrick, whatever you and your friends can do to that effect when they are returned, even if our numbers are not great, the show of our force must be great.
Aye, and there will be a show. Ravelor is writing one. Can we have word that everyone shall be on board?
Whatever I can order any of mine to do to be in service of this goal, I shall.
We need everyone in line, ready, from shortest to tallest.
I think perhaps maybe we would do well to consolidate first, Padrick, all our goodly thoughts and present our goodly recommendation before we make casting calls.
They will be casting calls.
Padrick, even as a child, I learned that to rule is in many ways to perform. Not all of the lines be memorized. Not all of the roles cast ahead of time. But we, if we are to put on a spectacle, then it must be one that will be remembered. And all here shall play their roles, whether they are featured on center stage or nay.
There are no such thing, small parts. Only small players. And we need all of them. We need all players.
Adam, here's your Bardic Inspiration.
Thank you. I don't know if you're going to want me to use it. Well then, we must about our business be. Some dispatches of grave import we will be sending to Haleford. Now, I am sending some of our fleetest horses to do so. And of course, there are some at the garrison who I hope are still friendly to our cause. And there are some smaller garrisons further down the coast. If and when they can be relied upon to send some such retainers as they can spare to temporarily fill our ranks, then we shall have some of a professional caliber. It shall only remain to us to ensure that it is our cause that they turn to, not my uncle's, doth arrive. But whatever doubt I may have, or we may have, that doubt shall remain behind a mask. And we shall a grimmer, resolute face wear to meet them. Now, good Barwin, Podrick, his house is yours. Make what use of it you can in service to our means, and make what request soe'er you choose from myself or Myra, and what strength I can bring to bear, we shall consider it our own.
Well, we will away to prepare as such.
Thank you. Myra, what was it you were telling me about our wheat? And then the sort of buzz of activity just starts up again, and Bertram is just like, that's 3 spears. These, I believe, can be augmented, and then, it kind of fades out. You close the door. The day is yours to return to working on potion crafting, if you like. But I think we will pop on over for our final skills challenge to see how you go. After some time traveling in your carriage and looking over your numbers and stuff, you have about 30, and then various folks who may or may not be turning up to watch a play, to be in a play, to be adjacent to a play. It is up to you if you'd like to proceed similarly in your next stop, which is much closer to the estate. It is another riverside settlement. In this case, it is, rather than being a mill town, this seems to be a kind of way station for goods that are making their way past the actual estate grounds. There are a number of kind of larger barges, river outfitted barges, that are laden with goods that seem to have come from the north and are making their way downstream. It's somewhere in between the prior 2 places, sort of in apparent population. Are you going to approach things similarly here?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. It's time to get your rolls. Avery, that is sleight of hand and deception.
That's sleight of hand.
15.
On above a 10.
Hey!
Hey, what up? And on deception, that is a 24.
Wow.
Lordy.
That's great.
I wish I had got that roll and I tried to make that guy shit himself.
Don't we all?
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm thinking about that for 2 weeks.
Then I will need, if Caliban is doing his Bart Simpsons tick again, I'll need a performance check from Rav, and then a persuasion check at advantage.
This guy.
Performance coming at you.
Cleopatra.
Oh,
Hey, look at this.
Hey, saved by the border. That's the second 24 in a row. This was for performance, yeah.
Okay, it's happening. The tides have changed. Tables have turned, and so on.
combat now.
Okay, so then we've got persuasion and advantage.
Yeah.
No, this was for performance. So you just had one roll at that. That's all you needed. Now you've got persuasion and advantage.
First one was
And
that.
for a 17. Good baseline.
No.
Ooh, 17. Okay. And then I will need Buckle once more. Your persuasion and advantage with a +2.
17.
Okay, 17. You've made a just stair-step progression here. Third time lucky. We'll work backwards again from those checks. So from the beginning of introducing Buckle and of making your pitch, the atmosphere here is different. You seem to immediately have everyone's attention. There are people, a few lines into the opening pitch, a few people run down out of the building and around the place, and then come back with more people. as there's already been people sort of drawn to the carriage and stuff like that. But
I'm like walking towards the town, see people running towards me, I panic and just freeze in place.
Yep. And you are ogled. People are coming to see the armor. You hear whispers, like, "Oh, is that really be?" And kids just like sort of staring. And then someone, like, sorry, go ahead, Rav.
I just want you to know that Rav is incandescent with jealousy. Well,
the guy who you've brought along, who has told you on the ride, his name is Bradley. He says, "'Tis a fine suit of armor, that I can understand. Never seen such of its like."
Eat too, Bradley.
To clarify, Bradley is the only person we brought back to the carriage.
Well, everyone else is like, I'll gather my things and head that way, kind of thing, right? Like you can't fit 30 people in that carriage.
Yeah.
They all have to go home and get things and like finish what they're doing, but
I did not bring thee along to compliment others, and if thou shalt behave in such a way, I shall make thee wait in the carriage.
Am I not to say nice things about thy friends?
Aye, if thou must, but thou shouldst employ the 1 in 3 rule. 1 in 3 compliments that thou dost utter from thy lips can be for others, but 2 of 3 should be for me.
I see then. So, in order to square our accounts, I should be reminded by this armor of your own hair, for they do seem to be equally of shine.
Sadly.
Oh. Why, I do suppose one may look at this sort of soldier and feel fear strike them, but I were already afraid. Not sure of what I should say after such a performance as you did give.
Well, I know not if mine performances were aimed at striking fear, but I accept the compliment at its intent.
I thought I would make a fool of myself when I did speak.
Well, thou hast made a fool of me, for I have been foolish in demanding so much of thee.
I like your friend's plague mask. Meanwhile, Buckle, you are surrounded, and when before having this conversation with Bradley, Rav absolutely crushes this speech. Like, has people just hanging on every word. Some people are even doing that thing where they like repeat things that have just been said because they just like it so much, so you can hear it getting echoed. He said blah blah blah. When you get into the kind of more performative elements of things, it feels actually like doing a song or a play. Like the audience starts to get that engaged in things, and once you really rev them up, then you're able to punch home like the call to action, to like gesture towards your captain, and explain why now more than ever. Now is the time. Now is the hour. Yeah, you have got them absolute putty in your hands. Avery, you have got a rather buff contingent who has surrounded you, saying, "Now, she doth say that there be facilities where we may engage in what that man said at market last week, to gains. Were it so? Gains. Oh yeah, gains. Said you make gains when you get pains. Yeah, you'll do that." They're buying it, 100% buying it, and they get so engaged that they're also just super easy marks. You're paying us, like they get so excited. Wow, like gold, and then they like just put it in their front pocket, the back pockets, easiest to get, and it's just just like candy from kids. Just which is a crazy phrase. Kids guard their candy jealously. Now that I think about it.
But they have tiny hands.
This is true.
They guard it jealously, but not smartly.
Yes.
Yeah, they also don't have great fine motor skills, so
or indeed object permanence.
Yeah.
Depending.
Yeah, it's easy to gaslight a kid.
They're really small. You could just shake them upside down.
This is both a D&D and family advice live stream. If not copyright violation, then like FCC or something. Okay, so yeah, you're just absolutely smashing it. You're pretty confident that even though it's a smaller town here than the last place, that you can get at least 25 commitments out of this group. This is a few of these are like people promising their friends, but they're guaranteed like it's a total lock. They're definitely going to bring them along, et cetera, et cetera. And you even notice Marcus sort of talking with one person who seems very embarrassed. And you will come to find, if you're paying attention, that this is actually someone who was just working as a guard. And Marcus seems to be having that kind of conversation of like no one's going to hold it against you. Just, I promise, plague is not real. It is as the good man said. We're a hoax. Hoax. Oh, I don't know. I'm very much afeared. I think I should be cautious, but all right. And it seems you have a doctor with you. People seem to generally be on board. You can confidently say then, as a total, that you've got about 55 people willing to turn up to sort of work as guards, as retainers in your
better
retinue.
Than 4.
It is absolutely better than 4. Do you have any business you'd like to do, having wrapped that up before returning to Donvale Manor?
Should we put up some posters saying like recruiting, or
if you'd like to, we can say that you have had time on your carriage ride to give that a go. If you wanted to make some Caliban, your practiced dexterous hand. You can have been leading some of those up. Passive recruitment for later.
Put a QR code on it.
Get those clicks.
Rav goes around with his mage hand and adds in parentheses at the bottom, and there's a play.
So then all of you will be returning back to the manor after a day well spent on the recruitment trail. And in the lead up to that time, we'll flash back over to our potion crafting room. Now, in the sort of kitchen outbuilding area, Dahlia, who fortunately seems to have some influence in the kitchen, given the reduced staff, has commandeered far more space than really she probably ought to be allocating, given the number of hungry mouths that are going to be coming along. And the other staff are kind of like, begrudgingly allowing some of this and just trying to work around it, but they're grumbling. So, Podrick, you are proficient in herbalism. Dahlia is as well. Barwin, do you have proficiency with the herbalism kit?
I don't know what it is, which makes me feel like I don't.
Probably not then, but as a nature cleric, it is possible it might have been one of those early choices in your background that we didn't think about, but it may be not.
Can I check that somewhere?
It would be on the lower left part of your character sheet. I'm pulling it up here as well, under proficiencies, if you have it. Tools, yes. No, you've got Mason's tools. It's cool. You honestly, you got anything to do with stone, you're in good check. For what it's worth, I don't know if we've talked about this. You can, if you have proficiency in a tool set, it won't help you just with doing the craft. It can also mean you have some associated knowledge with that. So if you want to know something about things made of your particular item, you might be in a good position to make a knowledge-oriented check about it, that kind of thing.
Well, it's actually knows so much about stone doorways.
It's true.
That's what they're talking about while they're making potions.
Could be. So what this means is You can have up to 3 simultaneous things going, and these each take 4 hours to make. So the 3 of you can each sort of commandeer a station. Podrick, your usual check for this is a d20 plus your wisdom plus proficiency.
Oh.
So that would be the roll you're making for your one. Dahlia is doing the same with hers, and then Barwin, if you're getting like pointers from each of them as you go, then I'll allow you to make this check at advantage, but you just won't be able to add your proficiency bonus. So it's just d20 plus wisdom for you.
All right.
Those d20 plus wisdom plus
proficiency for you. Right.
Oh.
Kind of like a skill attack for you.
Wow. 3 5s.
Okay. So that's a 10. Am I right on that, Barwin? Okay. Which, as it turns out, this is quite a common potion.
You need.
And I believe that the DC is 10.
Oh, yay!
So I've just got this in
there we
front
go.
of me. Podrick, you smash that. Absolutely smash it.
So I did like 3 of them.
Yeah. And Dahlia is doing well as well. Although she is unfamiliar with it, you can see that she is moving with a really practiced hand. And you can also tell, Podrick, just from sort of looking through the ingredients that she's provided, the ingredients are in good shape. Some of them are pretty freshly picked. You can tell, especially with a roll that high, that even though this is a relatively straightforward potion, it's clear that some of these herbs were picked like at just the right time, not just time of season, but like time of day. Some of these things really matter in potion crafting, like some things that are really difficult need to get picked under a full moon in the springtime, like this kind of level of intensity. But even though this doesn't require that, it's clear that Dahlia's running a tight ship on the ingredients front. And every so often, she's sort of muttering things to herself. And if you pay close attention, Barwin, you'd probably be attuned to this as well. She seems to have rhyming instructions, little quips and aphorisms that she uses to just sort of, it's like she doesn't even realize she's saying it. It's like saying lefty loosey, righty tighty, that kind of thing. Yeah, she's in a groove. And every so often, Barwin, as you're going, this is unfamiliar territory to you. You've definitely done, this is adjacent to medical versions of this, like making a salve for curing wounds and stuff like that. So the mechanics of it can be quite similar, but you're basically like waiting for Podrick to finish the thing he's doing, and then he turns and is like, yeah, this next, okay. But Podrick is smashing it, so he's able to do that without breaking the flow. Honestly, Podrick, this is the first time you've been potion crafting on firm ground in like weeks. So you're just loving it sick by not being sick. For once. You, with your combined efforts, the 3 of you can each make a Bard's Voice potion over the course of 4 hours. And that's how long it takes to brew. And you have active attention, especially in the first half of that, and in the latter half of it, you're kind of stirring occasionally, so it's less intensity work. But you have at least 3 of those potions at your disposal. If you want to make more, you can I suppose do another 4-hour stint and give it a go.
I would like to keep making more.
Okay.
We'll join in.
As well. All right. Roll it up again.
Okay.
Hey!
Look at that. I thought it was going to be a double.
Oh, wow, that would be amazing.
Barwin, paying attention.
Yes, good learner.
Clearly. An obedient one. Okay. Okay, Podrick with a 15. That's a success as well. And Dahlia will succeed as well. Barwin, with a natural 20. Let me just take a look at this.
Yeah, I went to the herbalism.
I'm double checking. So
she makes the wrong potion.
no. With a natural 20, you're partway through the experience, you realize that Podrick isn't even leaning over to give you hints or tell you what to do anymore, because you're already doing it. You seem to sort of like have everything lined up. You're following an exact process. So Podrick just kind of stops. He doesn't have to. He can focus on what he's doing. If anything, it's a bit distracting how well it's going. And Dahlia is working as well. She's sort of like nodding in approval. You actually realize partway through that this reminds you of before you learned magic, you had to do a little bit of stuff to sort of staunch the bleeding and keep off corruption of wounds for like the cattle and sheep and livestock that were near where you grew up. And you remembered a sort of trick for increasing the potency of a particular compound, which involved a particular ingredient that is not on this recipe list. But it suddenly clicks for you that a few of the other ingredients, in fact, the most dominant ones in this potion, are the same ingredients as one of the sort of the salves that you used to make for your cattle, which is a bit odd. There's just some other ones that seem to be working with it. You can't be really sure what those other ingredients do to change this, but it occurs to you partway through, the way this is working, whatever it is, it's like a healing effect. It's similar to that. It is changing a person's tissue or something like that. And I will say that with a natural 20, you also make 2 doses of this for this round rather than 1. As kind of what would make sense probably is that if you're going to experiment on one of them, you have another one going as a control group just to make sure it's all good. But it does, it works. So that round you will have 4. So you now have a total of 7 Bard's Voice potions. The Bard Voice potion gives advantage on performance checks for 1 hour.
Can I carry them all?
I mean, between the 2 or 3 of you, pretty easily. You mean like in your inventory?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They'll be in relatively small files that you can put into like a folding, like a leather sort of fold over.
Did you say one of them has healing qualities?
No. So the Barwin sort of learned something about the science or medicine or magic of this, which is that the trick of this is that it seems to be doing something restorative for the body that it's doing this to. Neither of you are actors necessarily, but I don't know. It's up to you what you could theorize about why that might be the case, but it clearly is.
Okay. All right, 7's great. Happy with that.
Cool.
I think that's all we need.
Okay. Then as the day winds down, as you've had a full day of potion making and working around the kitchen folk who are very relieved to get the extra space back, because in the meantime, trickling in over the course of the late afternoon, more and more people begin to arrive at the manor house. Many of them looking very timid, a bit confused, but the guards and some of the staff who Myra has appointed begin to welcome them in. And they're sending these folks into sort of courtyard area where Myra is sort of herding them and giving them instructions, sending them different places. Bertram has taken a break from organizing the inventory in the armory to actually sort of begin outfitting people and like making sure that they have the right kinds and variety of armor, trying to gauge people's relative comforts with different weaponry. All of this is happening in the background as the rest of you arrive a little around or a little after sunset in the carriage to see that there is a hive of activity going on here at Donvale Manor. It is approaching night. There are people everywhere, some of them wearing new unfamiliar armor and moving around kind of in an ungainly fashion. A few over to the side with some of the more practiced hands kind of doing some maneuvers. And this, I think, is a good place for us to go ahead and put a pin in it for this session. It is 10:25. So
that works for me as long as we can establish that Rav and Bradley were making out in the carriage the entire way back.
Look, I'm assuming you had the back seat, like the one outside facing away to yourselves.
No, I want to be inside where it makes Buckle and everyone uncomfortable.
Of course you do.
In fact, maybe we make out like on Buckle slightly on his lap.
This is a callback to before our streaming days, but this is a much better carriage ride with a love interest than Rav's first one in our campaign. Memory serves.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't.
That's right.
What happened?
Ask Lucas.
Was this the pictures?
It was, yeah. It was a bit of a lover's quarrel last time you were in a carriage with Lucas of House Argen. When you didn't want to meet Dad,
Oh yeah, Rav doesn't do dads. That's the thing.
No, Rav doesn't do dads. We learned that. But that's the end of our allotted time for this week for the Headless Marys. They will be back in a fortnight's time at the same time, 7:30 Melbourne time, and of course, this episode and all other episodes are available on our YouTube channel. You can find us under Bardic Inspiration. This one will be up by Tuesday, Melbourne time, so you can find it then. And you can also find us on Twitter and TikTok at Bardic_inspo to keep up with what we're up to there. Please do so. If you have not yet, subscribe here to our YouTube channel to get notified of when we are going live. And I would like to, as always, extend a heartfelt thanks to our Technomancer Matt, who has designed Rollcast, which lets us do all these great dice rolls and to actually stream together like this. Couldn't do it without him. Also would like to extend a thanks to Eric Matthias, the creator of soundimage.org, who provides these great tracks for streamers. And of course, would like to extend a thank to our players for mucking in tonight, and to all of you for watching on the stream or later. Thank you for spending your time with us. And we'll close, as always, by saying thanks, and more thanks.
More thanks.
Have a good day.